Welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UK OCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
Let's hope for the best.
Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half again. How are you?
I'm great, Alan. Happy birthday, Boxing Day.
People are going to go, what's he on about now? What's he on about? Happy birthday, Boxing Day, Boxing Day. So, I want to admit, first of all, Boxing Day. Are you trying to say that I'm like Jesus of something in your eyes?
Perhaps, I guess. I think to OCR at one point you were like the Messiah, or, well, some people might have thought you were the opposite side of that coin, but who am I to judge?
Can I read you a message that I got sent this week? You've just reminded me something there of a message that I got sent, which I'm absolutely over the moon with. Ian. So I was talking to a guy. I'm not going to say who it is. I hadn't asked permission for this, Ian. But this is what I got, and I was wowed. I was absolutely wowed that someone who I know a little bit. I've known him for about a year, 2 years in OCR, know his name and everything else. But he sent me this message, and I know he listens to the podcast, so I'm going to say absolutely thank you. But I was in tears when I got this. We were talking about OCR in general, and I said, yeah, this is OCR. It saved me from my life and made me go forward. And it means a lot to me. And you can tell it means a lot to you, Alan. And that's why you make such a difference. I really feel and hope UIPM could be what saves the sport. OCR should be further ahead if it wasn't for World Obstacle had the right structure in place. But we are where we are. UIPM hopefully gives OCR the exposure and platform it needs to really shine. And I get where some people think it's UIPM using OCR for numbers, but I see it as OCR finally getting what it deserves. You've helped shape what's coming, Alan. And I'll always be grateful for that, mate. You're really appreciated, 100%.
Oh, that's really, really nice.
I was choked up here when I got it. I was choked up. I was like, because this is me and you in our pub talking, and we don't always see or hear what people say. I know we've got this little pub chat, which we're going to come to on a little bit later on, because we're going to talk about you being a murderer, etc., and that, and we promised our listeners that. But we know our pub. But this is from someone who's not in our pub. This is someone who just messaged me and said this to me, and I was like, wow, that really makes me feel that we're making a difference to OCR and fitness racing. People listening to us, and that type of message really means a lot.
It does. And listener, you perhaps don't realise sometimes that me and Alan, for all we know, there could be no one out there. We could be talking to Putin, as in all of our downloads, because we can see the figures. We don't always believe them, particularly when they skyrocket, as they often do. But for all we know, it could be someone hoping that we give away the location of British troops or something. We don't know. So when we get messages like that, it's actually nice to realise occasionally we hit our target audience.
It is, and that's exactly what it is. So I'm well happy. I'm well happy for that. But yes, it is my birthday, Boxing Day, Ian. I am the grand old age of so no one knows how old I am. People will probably guess, actually. But thank you very much for that, for reminding me how old I am and that.
Yeah, I heard or read recently about how as you get older, it speeds up. It really does speed up. Like when you're young, maybe it was an anticipation thing. When you're young, every single birthday mattered. And then as you get old, it just becomes a marker of, oh, look, time has marched on.
You're actually quite right there, but I have got a theory behind that. I think it's as you're young, you haven't lived long. So, if you're like, say, 11-year-old, you've only lived for 11 years, you've had 11 birthdays. So you can't really imagine yourself, reaching to 22, because that would be another 50% of the life you've lived, and you've got a lot of memories. So you can't think, gosh, it's not whatever. But when you get to 22, then you can't really see yourself getting to 44. And then when you cost 44, it's like 88's your next one. You know what I mean? To get so I see it's not much as going faster, it's that you've got more memories and more of your life has gone. More of your life has passed. I'll be honest and say I'm probably halfway through my life. I'd be surprised if I wasn't. If I reached 100 and whatever, I'd be absolutely shocked. So I know I'm halfway through mine, but I also savor moments now. When I was younger, I wasted time, where now I don't waste time. I value every minute of every day, without actually watching my clock, but I do value the little things in life, the sunsets, the sunrises, walking Betty in the morning, seeing a rabbit, seeing a butterfly, a beautiful flower. I know I'm from Yorkshire and people are going to be laughing their socks off now, but I do appreciate some of the smaller things in life as I've got older.
Which, of course, listener, leaves the mystery of how this podcast managed to get to 5 years. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, self-flagellation aside, yeah, we both enjoy doing this, and you're right. It is probably a memories thing. You have more memories. Although, and we're not going to get too deep into this topic because we do have quite a bit of news. Isn't it amazing, though, what things sometimes get stuck in the memory bank? Just the little things that, in the grand scheme of things, actually don't mean anything, and yet they're the stuff that gets stuck there, and you don't know why. Like I remember coming to the house we are now before we lived in it, and there being a big snowstorm, and Jen walking down the street in a dry robe before people had any idea what dry robes were. And it was like, oh, wow, that looks comforting. It's those kinds of memories which are quite vivid. But if you were a storyteller, you wouldn't have that in it.
No, you wouldn't. That would not come in a book. But it's one of the most vivid memories, isn't it, of life. But mine as a child is having one of them Evel Knievel wind-up motorbikes that used to make it jump everything. That's my earliest memory of everything.
Yeah, and I remember as a child, now mentioning child, my stepdad winding me up saying that for Christmas they were buying me a glow-in-the-dark chess set. I don't even think they do them things.
But did you get it? Did you get the glow-in-the-dark chess set then?
Don't even know if they exist. I have no idea. Yeah. Right, Alan, what are you drinking?
On my birthday, my sister bought me some beer, not because she knows I like beer it's actually cider. Not because she knows I like cider, so this is alcoholic, but because it's got the word brothers on it. So my sister buying it for my birthday, purely because it got brothers on. And I was going to go and get some Peroni, so I thought, no, I will have this. It's a 3.4%. Born in Somerset and raised at festivals, Dark Berries by Brothers Cider. It's actually quite nice here, and I just opened it. People probably listened and heard me cracking the can open about 3 or 4 minutes ago, but it is quite nice.
Oh, well, to kind of complement it, I've not exactly got a cider. Well, I guess it's alcohol-free pineapple cider. It's called Bigger Pineapple. I went to the local shop. It's what they had in, but I don't think I've ever drank on the show before. So it's quite nice. You don't often get pineapple-only drinks. You usually get them in, I don't know, pineapple and guava or stuff like that, don't you? Or a tropical crush. But pineapple on its own, quite nice.
Nice. Do you like pineapple?
I do, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I do quite like pineapple. My only problem with it, and the listeners are gonna laugh at this, I wish we could make them smaller. Like little kiwi size pineapples. Because a big pineapple, what would happen is I cut it up, I'll eat some of it, then you put it in a bowl, you put that bowl in your fridge, and then you don't look at it for a couple of days because it always goes on top shelf because that's the only one that tends to be free. You forget about it, and before you know it, it's about to crawl out your fridge.
True. Well, you're quite right. You're quite right. Well, why I'm asking is because in the summer this year, I'm going to try something that I saw on TV on Saturday morning. So any of our listeners out there, if you watched Saturday morning TV, I don't normally watch it. I was busy on my laptop and it came on. Is it James Martin, the cook? I think it's James Martin.
It is. Is it like Saturday lunch or something like that?
Something like that. Well, he got a pineapple. He basically chopped the bottom off a little bit so he could stand it upright. Then cut all the corners off it. So there was like bare, but he still had all the stalk on it. and then he cut it into wedges, so each piece had a bit of stalk on it, and then he put it on a barbecue in. So I'm going to have barbecue pineapple this year. Paula hates it, so it looks like I'm going to have to invite you round because you like pineapple, just so I can cook barbecued pineapple.
That sounds delicious. And you know what? I have actually had barbecue pineapple before with cinnamon.
No, yeah, that's what he
Yeah,
put.
yeah, with
Cinnamon
cinnamon.
and sugar on glaze on it.
Oh, yeah. Do you know the Brazilian barbecues you can get?
Yes.
They often do it. They often do it. And we went to one, I want to say Dublin, and it wasn't Ben Brazil, it was whatever the Dublin equivalent was. And there, as we're having the meats, I asked them, do you do pineapple? They're like, oh, yeah, yeah, we'll go and make you a pineapple. Jen gave me a weird look, tried a bit, and we ordered about 3 more portions before the end of the night.
That's the key. While we're talking about fruit, let's go little bit of a segue. Let's go nuts. We had nuts limitless race not so long since. We did touch on the results, and although the results are not officially out, I do have them, Ian. My sources have given me the results. Do you want to know some?
Oh, yes, please. So these are the official, unofficial, maybe official results.
Exactly. The official, unofficial, maybe the official result, purely for the Limitless race. So this is the British Obstacle Sports UK Endurance League. We'll go men first. Men, as we suggested, our sources told us that Dave Peters won. He was actually the only person to complete 5 laps. So a big well done to Dave Peters. Second was Richard Heedy, and third was Jake Bareham. I hope I've got that name right. So well done to you guys. In the females, we were right on the first two again, Ian. Louise Ferryman completing 4 laps. Well done, Louise. Libby Joyce also completing 4 laps. So big shout out to them too. And Emma McCree in third place, covering 3 laps. So well done to all of them.
Incredible performances. And I do like this format of notes, the go as much as you can. I know that Dave only managed 5 laps, which is just one more than the traditional 4 laps, but I have it on good authority. It was a hard course this year.
It looked a very hard course. It looked very muddy. As you know, I think, did it last year I did it or the year before? I can't remember. Maybe last year. Yeah, last year I did it. I got 4 laps last year. It was a tough course then. But it wasn't cold. This year, I've been told it was very cold down there, much colder than they've had down there. So yeah, a really tough course. So a big shout. I mean, Dave loves it. I mean, that's Dave's race. He adores that race. You know, every time I've been down there, I've seen him. He is a nuts aficionado, do they call it? Aficionado.
Nuts aficionado. I love that. I don't even know if it's the correct word, but absolutely, yeah. But speaking of Dave Peters, what's his gym called again?
Rumble Fitness.
Did you see the news, by the way, of Team Rumble?
I haven't seen this. What have I missed?
We had a transfer.
A transfer out of Team Rumble or a transfer in?
A transfer into Team Rumble.
This has got to be a big athlete. I'm going to build this up now with the big athlete, top athlete is left one team, is defected to Rumble. It's got to be Mo Salah. Mo Salah, because I know he's leaving Liverpool at the end of the season, is defecting to Rumble.
Not quite. It's not Mo Salah, but arguably better at monkey bars than Mo Salah. In fact, definitely better at monkey bars. James and Mariah Burton have joined Team Rumble Fitness.
Oh, wow. Now that is a big shock from Nuclear to Rumble Fitness. Ooh, interesting move there.
So James will presumably be trading in his yellow and black t-shirt for, well, I want to say purple and green. And they sometimes look like them sweets you used to get. Not the fruit salads, the ones that kind of went with fruit salads, but you didn't see them as often. The bruiser sweets, I think they're called.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
But hey, well done to James. Well done to Team Rumble Fitness. And well done to Mariah. Can't wait to see how it gets on. But it does throw the cat amongst the pigeons when it comes to like the UK OCR series now, doesn't it?
It does because as we know, Nuclear, which was called Nuclear Phoenix previous, they'd won it for I think every year, and Team Rumble had come second. They were always toying for positions. One of the people is James, who gets quite a lot of points for Nuclear moving across the Rumble. Could it be a big difference? I'm not sure and we say Dan Titcombe last year ran for Nuclear Wild Forest. I don't know where Dan's running because if Dan's moving into Nuclear, that will give them probably a little bit more of advantage. But no, it's interesting. If I'd have known he'd been up, I'd have made an offer for him to come to UKOCR team. You know, I could have offered some bonbons or some love art mint, some love arts that you get, you know, something like that.
Yeah, I had no idea his contract had expired either. But Alan, do we still have access to the back office when it comes to the stats of the UK OCR series?
We will have this year. So this year going forward, big shout out to Tim, who's going to be helping us do the league this year. He's going to be doing all the back end office. People know we reached out a couple of weeks ago. Tim's going to be doing it. So we will have this year, but I haven't got much from last year.
No, that's fine. I heard a rumour that Dan Titcombe heard, well, we've agreed, UK OCR have agreed for Dan to join Team UK OCR, so we just need to put it through. It doesn't matter whether or not he's agreed. Me and you, we've agreed it. So, yeah, we'll just change his name when you get a chance. Well, change his team.
We can do that with them all. We can just put them all.
We've still got to make it look exciting. We'll just take like the top three of the next series race.
Okay. I like all of that idea. I like that idea. Which reminds me, this weekend is the first race, the UK OCR series. We're all heading up to Tartan Warrior for the awards as well. And so it's going to be one big, amazing weekend. So a big shout out to everyone who's there. Hope to see you on both Saturday. Hope to see you Saturday and Sunday. I'm not racing, but I am videoing in Sunday. So hope to catch you all on the course on Sunday.
Yeah, I have an apology to make. I probably won't make either day because, as you know, Alan, can't really take the Friday off work to get up there in time Saturday. So I'm going straight to the hotel. Well, I say I'm going straight to the hotel. There's actually a Decker event about half an hour from the hotel, which may have some last waves available at like 11:30, which is a possibility of going. But we'll see on that, listener. Those at the awards, I'll tell you whether I make it or not. So that's a possibility. So I won't make it. And then, would you believe on the Sunday, Oldham Rugby has the audacity to change their Friday night game to Sunday?
That's to please you because I know you couldn't go make it on Friday night because you'd be too busy packing, and then now change it to Sunday so you can go and attend it.
Well, yeah, but it also means I can't go and do any videoing of Tartan Warrior. I have to head straight back.
They've not thought about that one for you, Ian, have they? They've not thought about that one.
Mean rugby team, but season ticket holder and Alan, as a Yorkshireman, you'll appreciate when you're on a season ticket, you use it.
Without a doubt. I would always use it. I would always use it. Before we go to OCR, shall we talk a bit about running news? Because there's a bit of running news this week, and I don't want to leave it because we've had a lot of running news to keep us going for the last couple of weeks, but there's some great few topics. And we don't have to talk about them all, but let's share a few of the running news stories this week.
Yeah, let's talk first about a 9-year-old girl ran a 5K in under 20 minutes at Parkrun. Wow.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. Lily Jan Mohammed, ran Battersea Parkrun in a time of 19 minutes and 45 seconds. And as you say, she's only 9 years old, Ian. This is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this is the fastest recorded time for a 9-year-old running a 5K in the UK, on parkruns. So, I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. What a time.
Not incredible. We do know that it's a real time as well because she had a previous personal best of 20 minutes plus change. So she shaved off about 40 seconds. So I'm surprised we've only just heard about her now, but I guess that breaking the 20-minute mark is kind of like a psychological barrier, isn't it? So it's something that just attracts attention. Speaking of which, Alan, when it comes to breaking records, Did you know that the half marathon record for female runners, which has lasted for, well, ages now, was absolutely smashed by 3 minutes at some local race in Las Vegas?
I do, but before I do, I want to say a big well done on that segue. That's the best segue I've ever heard, Ian. You just moved straight in from one to another. I've got to highlight that, listener, because that was the best segue ever. I just knew where he was going to go with it, and he went directly with it. Yes, Ian. This is the Las Vegas Purple Run, the half marathon, and this particular person, which is absolutely amazing. She ran the half marathon time in 59 minutes and 17 seconds. That's 3 minutes faster than the current women's half marathon record. However, let's look at her previous two runs, Ian. So she ran it in 2023 and she ran it in 2024. She did times of 2 hours 13 minutes, 2 hours 19 minutes. She's now run this over an hour faster than her ever running. And not only did she run it an hour faster, and we're talking about a world record pace, and call me cynical here, but there is a picture of this runner, and she ran the half marathon. She was number 353. She ran it in a black sweatpants and sweat top. I want to say the heat was whatever degrees it was. It was a hot day. She was overeating. She was dehydrated, and she smashed it. But not only did she smash it, Ian. So this is for anyone who wants to know. You can find this on Marathon Investigations. One of the big things that I see. So she ran it at a 4-minute 30-second per mile. Okay, it was 3 loops of this race. However, her first 5K, she ran her first 5K in 23 minutes. Just short of 23 minutes. So imagine the rest. She's ran not only world record pace, but she's smashed world record pace for the rest of the race. So she ran her first 3 miles in 22 minutes, and then ran the other 10 miles in just over 35 minutes.
It's incredible. I need to find out. This is where I've been going wrong, Alan. I've always gone for okay trainers. I've always gone minimalist when it comes to running stuff. Not that minimalist, listeners. Don't worry. No public decency laws will or have been broken. I should just throw a black hoodie on and joggers, but yeah, it's obvious she hasn't, but it does kind of highlight how in the bubble we are sometimes. Because it's kind of clear as day that this lady is just someone, she's done it before, but she's not someone who's within the running ecosphere. In that you would kind of know that, this time just isn't possible, and certainly not in that heat. It's like that bloke during the pandemic who was claiming to be running world record marathons round his coffee table.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
But the worst part about this is, unfortunately, she has a family who also don't know running, who try to blast the organisers for not honouring the fact that she'd set a new world record, which is incredibly ludicrous if they weren't so impolite. So go on Marathon Investigation, have a look. Definitely an interesting character. But talking about people not finishing the race, how about we flash back a couple of weeks to when athletes were given permission due to heat to not finish their marathon? Because we've now got word of exactly how many people have officially ran a 18-mile marathon.
So this was the LA Marathon, I'm right, isn't it? If I remember right, this was the LA Marathon, and they turned around and said that at a certain point, if you went past the 18-mile mark, you could finish. You didn't have to go any further. And, for whatever reason, maybe time-wise or anything else. So, Ian, hit me with how many people have run an 18-mile marathon.
Well, according to Runner's World, 985 runners finished their race at mile 18, which, I'll be honest, Not as many as I expected, but it does represent almost 5% of the field. I think they've looked at 4.5% of the field finished at mile 18. So I guess if you give people the option, 1 in 20 is going to take it.
I can see this is an eBay opportunity. This is an eBay opportunity. If I was one of these 985 people, I would have a plaque made showing that I'd only run 18 miles, and I would have the medal instilled in it, saying this is one of only 985 18-mile medal marathons. Medals. I put too many medals in there, but you get in my drift. It's an 18-mile marathon medal, and it's one of only 985. That's got to be worth a few quid. Eligibility for next year.
It really must be. But if you want a more traditional marathon, one of the most famous ones, Alan, is the London Marathon, which happens, every April, without fail. Notoriously one of the hardest marathons to get into. Well, that might be about to change because 50,000 are taking part this year. It won't be that many, but that's how many places.
Yeah.
2027, there's advanced talks to running it as a 2-day event. They've been taking tips off HYROX, and the idea is to have 100,000 going through on one weekend. Alan, I imagine you've got some thoughts on this.
I've got good thoughts and bad thoughts. First of all, that means London's going to be closed down. London city centre is going to be closed down for 2 days. Not sure whether people want that. You've got 100,000 people descending on London, for a weekend of just running, which is plus the normal people that are going to be descending on London as in tourism. The infrastructure is going to take a massive hit. I guess I like it because London Marathon is iconic. Yeah, it's one of the marathons that if people around the world, is it what they call them, the 7 marathons? One of the 7s, the unofficial championship, something.
I want to say the Abbott 6 or something like that. Abbott, and you can get the 6 stars, and our listeners will know this far better than me and you, Alan. But you can also do it for half marathons as well. I think a couple of our listeners have done it. I think it's now 7. I think they've thrown Sydney in there, but for a long time it was 6.
Yeah, I thought it was 7. That's where I got it from. So I like the idea that you're going to get more people, bigger chance of running it. I'm not sure what it's going to do in terms of, will it devalue a little bit? So in theory, you could have the elite race on the Saturday and it'd be atrocious weather, and I mean a really atrocious weather. And then on the Sunday, you could have really beautiful weather, great running weather to go and run it, and see people with amazing quality times. And you could even get an amateur runner that's competing against the elite level runners. There's a lot of amateurs out there that are not too far behind the elite level runners. You could get a close time. I like it in one hand. I'm not sure about it in the other. I would have liked to have seen 2 separate days over 2 separate weekends, months apart.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And what you could perhaps have done if you did it that way, Alan, is maybe, because the London Marathon is also the British Championship when it comes to marathons, maybe one, you just focus exclusively on the world-class runners. Maybe the other, you almost have it as a celebration of the British athletes taking part in the British Championship. So they get a little bit of the press time and the limelight. That could be cool. I was just checking when the London Marathon started. It was 1981. And I'll be honest, Alan, if they want to do something like this, we're on 2027. Why not wait 4 or 5 years later and do it as the celebration for the 50th, not 50th or 40th? What's my 40th?
40.
No, beg your pardon. It would be the 50th.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. 50th. Have it as a 2-day event, one off on the 50th. But I don't think they're patient enough. So we'll see it next year. And like you, Alan, I can see bad things and good things with it. Will it be successful? Absolutely. Could it potentially devalue it? Yes. Could it have a knock-on effect of other races? Because races like the Brighton Marathon and Manchester Marathon to some degree and other races get athletes on the grounds that they couldn't get into London.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. It's interesting. It's interesting. I've got a little quiz question about the London Marathon that's OCR related.
Okay, what is it?
Which OCR race director ran, I don't know if it was the first one, but one of the very first marathons, London Marathons, as the rear end of a horse?
Is it Mr. Mouse?
It is, yes. Mr. Mouse did London Marathon as the rear end of a horse with his son.
That's probably the least surprising fact I think we've ever had on this show. But if you do get a marathon place, listener, you'll be tempted to go out there and train. Well, not tempted, it's mandatory. However, be very careful if you decide to supplement that training with a weighted vest, as one poor unfortunate soul in Manchester found out this past week. Alan, do you want to let the listeners know what happened in Manchester with an athlete?
This was a great story. So this was in a park in Salford, Greater Manchester, and the police were called. So the father of a couple of children was out training in the park. Now, if you do see the picture of him, he has got a weighted vest, and it's one of these black ones. And it's so I've got a weighted vest, and my weighted vest has metal plates in. And a lot of weighted vests are like that now, but this is an older style one. And what it has is you put little sandbags in it. So when you look at the picture, it's a normal vest at the top, and at the bottom, all around his waist, he's got these little long, I want to call them sausage pouches, that you put sand in. And it looks a little bit like what you would imagine a suicide vest looks like. So the police were called, to Mandalay Park, and snipers took aim at him. Luckily, they didn't pull the trigger. But yeah, I mean, Ian, this is crazy. In a park training, and someone calls him. This is the world we live in at this moment in time, that people are fearful.
It is scary how fearful people are, because, and try not to make too much light of a potential serious situation. However, you do have to question the logic of seeing someone using the park equipment because they have a park gym,
Yeah,
and thinking he was a threat to society, because it wasn't like he was wandering through a crowd. It wasn't like he was running or anything like that. Even if it had been what they suspected, the worst thing that would have happened is there'd be a cleanup job and about 50 quid's worth of scrap metal.
yes, yeah. I get that. And apparently it was skipping, I think, at the time the police arrived. It does say in the article that he was actually skipping in his wet vest when the police arrived. Really don't get it. I do get that someone are worried. But yeah, it's, you like you say, right. Mandalay Park, it's not like if it was in Meadow Hall and it was at the doors of Meadow Hall, which is in Sheffield, big shopping centre, lots of people going, without a doubt, I think I'd have been calling the police and running as far away as I possibly could. But here, a little bit different, not the same place. What's that saying? Know your audience. Obviously, if he doesn't know his audience in that park.
Apparently not. But while we're talking about that kind of topic, lovely segue here to why sometimes your run doesn't have to be on Strava. I'll take this one, Alan, because this is the story of, as we know, at present, at time this is going up, there's issues in the Middle East,
Yeah.
and various nations are sending support or defensive capabilities out there. Well, about 2 weeks ago, a sailor aboard France's nuclear aircraft carrier, the FS Charles de Gaulle, went for a morning jog on the deck. Yep. He went for a jog on the deck of the nuclear aircraft carrier, uploaded it to Strava, and gave away the coordinates of this nuclear carrier, which were top secret at the time. And yes, sometimes you don't need it to go up on Strava.
This was a classic, and this has gone viral. This, if you haven't seen this, people, you've not been on social media, because this post has gone viral. It is one guy on a 5K run, at great times, by the way, that is run, but one guy on a 5K run around the aircraft carrier, and it's just the secret location is now no longer secret. Oh, could you imagine? He's going to be court-martialed. He's got to be court-martialed for it.
You do. And do you not think it's funny that when I use my Strava, it can sometimes have me on the other side of a road, in a lake, wherever? His must be the most accurate Strava ever.
It's probably running with one of those global satellite phones as well, with his Strava attached to it. It's not. He hasn't got it on his Apple phone or his watch. He's got it on one of these global satellite phones that cost millions of pounds to work, just so it's connected directly to Elon Musk's, satellite Starlink network, giving him exact locations.
Oh, what a classic. Let's move on from running news. There has been some rat race news, Alan. We always like when rat race are in the news.
Yes, rat race are back. I'm going to turn around and say they are back. They're pushing emails out, but we'll come to that one in a minute. But first things first, Burley House, well known for Rat Race Dirty Weekend, and there's been a bit of a takeover there in terms of Rat Race have been letting Forest Facility Adventure use the obstacles that have all been stayed in situ. But Rat Race are launching soon the Dirty Day at Forest Facility Burley House. It's going to be a 10K family-friendly obstacle course race. It's only going to be available for 50 people, and they're going to have 60 obstacles, including the underground container tunnels, the lake swim, and the big jump, the big jump into the water. So it's going to be it's going to be great, you know what I mean? And they're going to do a 20-mile challenge option for those who want to do a few laps of it. A bit like taking you back to Dirty Weekend, I'm liking this here. I'm loving this, if I'm honest.
I love this. I hope they can grow it. Like you say, it's limited to 500. Let's hope they sell out. And it just goes on from there. 60 obstacles. That's still a lot of obstacles.
A lot of obstacles in a 10K course, you know what I mean? And I mean, we're not talking little obstacles here. We're talking big obstacles. I'm loving it. I think it's absolutely... Maybe this could be a prelude. If they sell 500 tickets in the first hour of it coming out, I think we could see Rat Race coming back into the OCR market. So if you're listening to this, you love Rat Race, you need to get on this as soon as it comes out.
Yes, please sign up as soon as you can. And to help you keep the pennies alive when it comes to finding the entrance fee, they haven't done this for a while, but Rat Race, Alan, they've sent me an email about a spring sale.
Okay. Please tell me it's got bivvy bags in it. Please tell me it's got the bivvy bags in.
It has bivvy bags, and listener, they're not £6. They're not £5. They're £4. What a bargain for a bivvy bag.
And is there a code to get a discount on that?
No, I think that's with discount.
Hold on, listener. There will be a discount code comes out quick. We know how Rat Race work. There will be a discount code come out quick. Easter's coming. Watch it out now. It'll be Rat Race Easter Bunny 20.
Definitely. And that feels like a throwback. And speaking of throwbacks, a lot of times we kind of criticize Spartan and Tough Mudder for not doing enough to kind of like create news sometimes. They used to be very good at this back in the day. And then social media became all about the shares and all about viral moments. And some of the news kind of got lost. But this week, Spartan put out a really cool thing on their Facebook where they basically did magazine articles on their 5 Spartan UK athletes in the women's division. So go on Facebook, and for the elite teams, of course, to remind you, you've got Andrea Burquez, Federica Di Cario, Libby Joyce, Josie Lloyd, and Becky Neal of Who's Hot. And these are really cool, aren't they, Alan? Back in the day, this is what would be in like OCR magazine.
I love this. I think this is absolutely fantastic. I think it's great that they're putting something out there to promote the athletes. Hopefully they're going to do a men's one next. This is women's because I think it was International Women's Day the other day, so it came out because of that. Absolutely great to see it. More of this, please. Please, more of this.
Yeah, and I appreciate it's hard work because they're effectively interviews and you then making it into an article. But I love stuff like this. It's a throwback. And again, please support that post. put lots of likes and love on it and let Spartan know that this is the kind of thing we want to see. Or if it's not, don't like it. But yeah, if it is, definitely like it. But speaking of loving stuff, Alan, Deca Fit brought out their Deca Fit Ultra belt buckle, and it looks cool, and it really fits the hexagon style medals that we're going to see this coming year, doesn't it?
Ian, this looks something like out of Marvel Comics. This looks absolutely phenomenal. I can't explain what it looks like. People, imagine what's the guy with the thing in his chest? What's his name?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Imagine that on a band with red and blacks and greys and that really dark Marvel colours, and then pop the X in the middle that matches it. Ian, it looks amazing. What a belt buckle.
It does, and I like the hex that they've used, because they've used the hex which has the Spartan face on it.
Yeah.
So you get like, I want to say 1/3 of a Spartan helmet, but it doesn't look out of place because it just looks like it's about to come into frame. So what a cool medal. So well done to whoever designed that. I think we're down to a handful of tickets. This is at Deca Manchester in actually Tough Mudder Yorkshire weekend. So that's the last weekend in July. Down to a handful of tickets on the Sunday. So definitely sign up and get yourself a little piece of Deca and Spartan history. We might as well, whilst we're in Fitness Racing Corner, let's cover off a few news and notes. Deadly Dozen, Alan, have released another new territory. They have released 3 races in France. So Vive la France. You've got Antony, which is a suburb of Paris. You've also got Strasbourg. And the final race is down in Nancy. So I believe Strasbourg and Nancy are relatively close to Luxembourg. So they're that side. So the right-hand side, and of course, Antony, which is a suburb of Paris, relatively easy to get to. So definitely, if you fancy a racecation, go and check that out. Speaking of racecations, AFX was in Miami this past weekend. Not going to talk too much about it. I'm going to suggest that next week you listen to Matt's Not So Live show, because Ugly Dave's going to be on there talking all about it, because he was there volunteering. But to set the table a little bit, it was kind of an invitational event, Alan. So they had all these fantastic CrossFit athletes and a couple of OCR adjacent athletes as well. It looks like AFX is going to go down a storm in America. So best of luck to everyone there.
Fantastic news. Fantastic news like that.
Okay, let's cover off the HYROX news. I went down and did HYROX on a Tuesday, Alan. 3 days ago, me and the intern went down to London. And Alan, do you remember how before your first HYROX, you had this little challenge where you wanted to see, is it possible to do a pro HYROX without doing any training for it?
Yes. If anyone remembers that, it was without doing any specific fitness training, just stuck to my running, didn't do anything other than just stick to my running, didn't go to the gym and do anything that was HYROX related exercises. And as we proved, it's a failure, and you can't do it.
Yeah, well, I kind of did something similar this time, listener. Our wave time, we knew that our wave time was going to be around 2 p.m., 3 p.m. because mixed pairs, that was the waves. So we thought, I wonder if it's possible to go to London and back, which is a 3.5 to 4 hour journey there, 3.5 to 4 hour journey back, do a HYROX all in one day.
Oh wow, I like that idea. That used to be OCR in the day. That was OCR back in the day. So
that absolutely was. Yeah. Well, Alan, it's perfectly fine in terms of, actually logistically, you absolutely can. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not. But I did draw on our OCR training, our OCR experience. We bought some baby wipes. So after we just finished, we went straight to the train station, baby wipe shower in the toilet to get changed, lots of deodorant, and thankfully didn't cause too much of a stink in the train on the way back. But yeah, wouldn't recommend it, but you absolutely can.
I like that. I love that. You can do it, listeners, but don't do it.
Yeah, we do this a lot, Alan. We make mistakes, so our listeners don't.
Too right. We do.
While we're talking about HYROX, we had various world records over the weekend. Hiddy Veersma got the men's record, absolutely smashed it. This one's legitimate. It's not like he was there in joggers and a black top. This was absolutely a legitimate one. Also, a good friend of the show, Tim Venish, and his partner, Alexander Ronkovic, also absolutely obliterated the men's doubles record. Both of them were in E15 races, which kind of brings on one of the low points of the HYROX, which is, I'll set the table a little. In HYROX, they've got a rule which we're familiar with in OCR, that at the end of a race, there is a protest period. So if you think that there's anything that's gone amiss, you can take it to a judge and you can protest about it.
Yeah.
In OCR, we're used to that being in terms of our race. So if we feel, for example, that the judge was unfair to us on an obstacle or whatever, or we've gone the wrong way,
you didn't hit the bell or something like that, and the judge said, something along those lines, or the burpees.
Yeah. In HYROX, you can actually protest not just about what's happened to you, but also about your opponents. And this was used in the women's doubles, where the winning team, to set the table a bit more, in the Elite 15, it's not the same course as we run on. There's certain different rules. One of the rules is on the sled push or sled pull, if you end up on the opposite side, or in fact anything that's on a grid, on the opposite side from the exit, you have to run all the way back down your lane before joining the run lane. That's just the rule.
Yeah.
And the leaders of the race were spotted doing this by the VAR guys at HYROX, and they were penalised during the race. It was a 1 minute penalty. Unbeknownst to all of us, the eventual winners, who were possibly fourth or fifth place, slightly veered off course when they were running back. So for whatever reason, they were almost to the end of the lane, and then one of them just veered off.
Okay.
And this was reported after the race. And as a consequence, they got a 1 minute penalty, shifted them down to third place, which meant first place was Sinead and Lucy Proctor, who they've already qualified. But what it did do is the team after Sinead and Lucy got the qualification spot by that the team now below them had previously got. And this wasn't a case of third place team was in a photo finish with first place. There was almost a minute between them. The minute was the determining factor. Had it been a 30-second penalty, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
So this topic has been done to death already, Alan. Go and listen to Matt's program, go and listen to mine. But the reason I bring this up, what are your thoughts on races being determined after the race?
I hate it. I've said this before. I absolutely hate it, the idea that a race can be determined after the race based on going back and looking at something. I hate the fact, but I do understand it needs to be done. Yeah, I do understand it needs to be done because we all want a fair race. We all want a 100% fair race. And I use an analogy of golf. In golf, an athlete calls his own penalties. Yeah. But they also, in a professional round of golf, they will have a judge or a referee or whatever you want to call it, following every group around, just in case they don't know the rules of something. So there's someone goes round and it's all televised. So, but they call their own penalties. And it's never, or I don't know of any golf event that's the decision is made after the event. It's all done on the course because they call the penalties on the course and mark them on the course. But sometimes in a fast-paced sport like OCR and like HYROX and other running events, triathlon, we've got to have rules put in that can't always be judged there and then on the race. Hence, we get the 1 minute penalty. I would love it, Ian, if athletes, I don't want to sound this condescending by saying honest enough to call the mistakes, because I think they're genuine mistakes. I don't think they've done it on purpose. As you said, they've just cut the corners, they've come out of the lane. They've probably not done it on purpose. I would probably say it's the last thing they want to have done. They've just gone across the corner. But it needs to be picked up. So if we're going to make HYROX a world-class sport, yeah, which it looks like it's going to be, it does look that along those lines, it's going down that route, then it needs to have things in place. VAR, for instance. And it can be called there and then. So there should be someone constantly watching it, yeah, and it should be seen. Maybe it's brought to the attention by someone's coach. If they're going to turn around and say people can appeal against it, then the coach can appeal against it. Because who saw this? Who saw this if it wasn't the runners? Yeah. If they didn't call it themselves, who saw it?
As I understand it, someone watching at home who knows some of the athletes involved and basically told them you might want to appeal it.
There we go. And sorry, that's what I was going to say. That's where it should be watched back by judges who's in the room. They should have a head judge constantly watching for infringements that can see it.
As I understand, HYROX does have a VAR judge, and that's how the penalty was called earlier in Holly and Saskia, the leaders at the time. However, my suspicion is they'll make further improvements to that because, let's be honest, Alan, it stopped being a sport when you've got effectively fans. I know they might be coaches, but once the race starts, you're a fan. We're all just fans watching it. And when fans can start to dictate rules, it's not a good idea. It should be, as you say, Alan, you call it there and then on the day. If a call is blown, it happens. You give the judges enough technology to help them. So like you say, VAR.
Yeah.
And that's it. And if you mess up, well, that's how it goes. Like
the judge makes the call, doesn't it? I was going to use the analogy here of Maradona when he used his hand to put the hand in the back of the net against England in the World Cup. Can you imagine how many fans would have been calling up there, calling Peter Shilton, telling him he'd used his hand? Peter Shilton knew he used his hands. It's the referee who didn't.
Exactly, Alan. It's one of them that I think when HYROX made this rule of this protest period, obviously it was based on other sports which have something similar, like you have it in cycling, I believe, and other sports. It has the best intention, but the unintentional consequence is we've now got an internet full of super sleuths looking for any reason to help their runner. So I don't think this is the end of this particular story. Let's see what HYROX do next, and we'll leave it there, Alan. Let's also briefly mention, if you're going to HYROX London, Gymshark want to give you a baked potato. So Gymshark are doing another pop-up activation. Last year, it was a laundrette. This year, it's a pop-up spud shop. So pop in and get a spud. I think there's also patches. And you can actually buy a coat there. And they're going to give some away. You can buy a coat there, which you can put your patches on. I think it's only about 55 quid.
I love it. I absolutely love that. I saw that and I was like, oh, yeah, this is great because everyone's got the rucksacks that they can put patches on, but they're running out. You can only carry one rucksack around with you. So here we go. Let's have a coat. Let's put us patches on a coat. Yeah, I love it. What an idea. What a way of getting people to buy a coat.
Honestly, I'm surprised no one's done it before. It seems so obvious, and then someone goes and do it. Final bit of hybrid news. Alan, this is more from your point of view. Listener, as you're aware, there's kind of like, it's not an OCR fitness racing hybrid, except it kind of is. This is wild hybrid where you have a trail run, you have some exercises, it's outdoors, and Alan, you noticed it again this week, didn't you?
I did, because it's coming to a place near me on the 11th of July. It's coming to Rother Valley, which is just outside Sheffield. 5 stations, so it's a 1 kilometre trail run, followed by sandbag lunges, followed by another 1 kilometre trail run, then some 20 ball cleans over the shoulder, a run, a sledge push, a run, devil's press, a run, wall balls, 5 stations. And it finishes with a 5 kilometre trail run. So once you've done them all and you've already ran your previous 5 1Ks, you then go and do a 5K afterwards before you cross the finish line. I do like that idea of a 5K run at the end. But yeah, and again, you get a finisher's patch. I'm loving this. Wild hybrid, you get a finisher's patch. It's interesting, and the way I say it's interesting because you brought it to my attention last year, and it's back again this year. But these type of things that the fitness racing world are popping up more and more, just like, and we've had so many examples of it as an OCR world. It really, really, really reminds me of OCR back in the day. So anyone who's into fitness racing, check it out. It's at Rother Valley on 11th of July. It's wild hybrid.
Yeah, definitely check it out. There's so many races out there, but this seems to be one of the good ones. I know that means there's bad ones out there, but we're living in the real world. Unfortunately, there's going to be races which are here today, gone tomorrow, but this race seems to have a bit of staying power, which probably means I've cursed it. Sadly, Alan, I won't be there because that's when I'm on my holly bobs. 11th of July, I'm on my holly bobs, so I can't make it, but I hope you're able to.
Have you got that holly bobs in with HR?
Oh, oopsie.
Talking about holly bobs and that, anyone who hasn't got the holly bobs booked in yet, head on down to PT Barn with Tony Leary, and that they're going to be putting on some Road to the World's training sessions again for Team UK. They're running junior sessions, that's for under 16s, on the 4th of May and the 26th of May, and adult sessions again on the 4th of May, 26th of July, and adult sessions on the same day as well at different times. So it's not just for people going to Euro and the Worlds, it's for anyone who's involved in competitive OCR. And if you are new to competitive OCR, you need to head on down to one of these. We're talking about multi-world champion athlete in Tony Zumbaleri, taking them on down there. So go check them out, people. It's going to be amazing. They're always great down there.
Tony just knows how to run these things.
Without a doubt. I've had so many people go there and he'd come back and he'd turn around and say how good he actually is. In terms of how much they have learnt while they were down there. I've got 2 more things, Ian, from me. First of all, big thank you to Kelly Spalding for telling me about the new 5K world record has been smashed with a dog. Ben Robinson, he goes all around the UK running with his dog, 5K, 11 minutes, 56 seconds, Ian. That is absolutely phenomenal.
I'm curious now, what type of dog is it?
It looks, I want to say like a large greyhound or something like that. Does it say what it is? Let me have a quick look. No, it doesn't tell me what dog it is.
The reason I ask is I'm wondering, does the dog's feet have to touch the ground to set it? Or could we give Mo Farah a Shih Tzu to having a little backpack and just run with it?
I think the dog's got to run with you. But I like you thinking. I do like you thinking.
Oh, God.
Oh, cracking.
Oh, speaking of that, Alan, this past week at HYROX, we know that by the time this comes out, I think it's day 65 of HYROX London, or at least it might feel like that. But this past Monday, they had a Red Bull invitational, where influencers, people associated with Red Bull went, and one name caused quite a stir in that there was a runner by the name of Mo Farah who went and did it. And then his result came in and perfectly respectable, but it was clear it was not the Mo Farah.
It would have been cracking if it had, wouldn't it? It would have been cracking if it had. And my last thing before we let everyone go, Ian, let's talk about names. We promised our pub that people would put them in if they were famous or if they weren't famous and what they would be doing. So we've got some great ones here, Ian. So Craig Redman, big thank you to Craig Redman, a Canadian professional ice hockey player, played 191 games in the National Hockey League. I like that one.
Yeah, I love that one. That's a nice, quirky one, isn't it?
It is. Mike Nolan was part of a group. Do you know what group he was part of?
Oh, I don't want to be mean. Lots of joke answers are coming up, but Mike, as I understand it, you're recuperating with a vicious hand injury. And I say no more about that because again, I can make lots of jokes about how you injured your hand. So let's move on.
Bucks Fizz. It was part of Bucks Fizz, which is quite interesting. Kelly Spalding. This is a good one. This Kelly Spalding put her name in, and she came out on top. So the top two is actually Kelly Spalding. So she is the most famous Kelly Spalding.
Okay, that's impressive. I don't think I'm even in page 3 of Google. So Kelly Spalding is the most famous Kelly Spalding. Cool.
It's all right. Michelle Carney, a high-profile leader in the UK charity and sports sector, best known for her role as a former CEO of Special Olympics Great Britain. So that was quite interesting as well.
Is that another case where Michelle Carney is the most famous person with a name, or is that a separate person? Because that's the kind of thing it wouldn't surprise me if Shell's doing and hasn't mentioned it.
And I thought exactly the same when I read it. But no, it's not Michelle. But Michelle is second in the list as well. So in the Google list, Michelle is actually second, which I thought was quite interesting. Mr. James Burton. I love this one. This is a great one. Mr. James Burton was the Elvis guitarist. So he played guitar alongside Elvis Presley. That's a cracker, that one, Ian.
Oh, does that mean that for the UK OCR Awards this coming weekend, the post-awards entertainment is all sorted?
It certainly does. We could have Mike Nolan. We could get James Burt. Oh, Ian, we got a right one. But also, you as well, Ian, because Steve HFD has actually found out that you was a famous guitarist as well, a French one.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a case of mistaken identity. No one is going to mistake me as a guitarist or B, a Frenchman.
No, you're quite right. You're quite right. But he wears a snazzy suit. That's all the news for me.
I think that's all the news for me as well. Dear listener, hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to see you live and in person, or at least some of you, this coming Saturday. I absolutely can't wait. I was so sad last year, Alan, when we had to go back to not the future, back to the past and do it virtual. It's been 2 years since we've all got together. I absolutely can't wait.
And neither can I, listener. Thank you very much for listening. And just to let you know, 6:30, we're starting on Saturday for the awards. We may or may not show it live. I don't think we're going to show it live, but we will have a backup plan to get it all out to you at some point over the weekend if you are not making it. In the meantime, I hope to see you at Tartan Warrior on Saturday or Sunday. And you take care, you stay safe. Please keep on running. Yeah. Please keep sharing all your stories with us, and we'll speak to you all soon. Bye.